Good morning. Welcome to Winnipeg. Now, yesterday, my smartphone makes a little noise and I look at it and it says weather warning. And can you believe it? We're supposed to be having another blizzard coming through here. Probably supposed to start late this afternoon. Now I hope it goes the same way as the last one that they said we were going to get goes. And it just sort of goes to the south of us. Yeah. And poor Kevin in South Dakota, he gets it. And we miss it. That's kind of hard to understand. You don't think of, further south having more snow than Canada. Anyway, I talk way too much about the weather. Could be worse. Yeah, what with tornadoes going through places and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. I really shouldn't complain about the snow, should I? But that's the way it goes. We human beings have a tendency to like to complain. Yeah, okay, now, speaking of complaining, I put the little bracket on wrong. Those of you who watched yesterday's episode will know that I should have had those little clips on the outside of everything instead of on the inside of everything. So I'm going to change that. And because it's such a fiddly thing, I don't think I can really do it too well on camera, so I'm just going to go ahead and get it done. Then we'll slip the macro lens on later and take a look at what I did. And all being well, I should be able to do the soldering on camera, though. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. Our sunrise this morning, about an hour ago, I saw a little bit of pink starting in the sky. And I thought we might get something, but it just sort of died out. I haven't seen the walkers yet. I don't know if they came and went. But there was not much of a sunrise. So maybe we'll put it in at the end of the episode, or I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Sometimes I forget altogether. Get kind of busy. But anyway, let's stop yapping here and see if we can do something with our little part here, which is just about ready to fall apart if I keep poking at it. Well, it's got to come apart anyway, right? Okay. No rollback. I did not come back to the model table last night, so okay. Let's just move on and get going here today. Okay. We got it. I was going to say it took about half an hour to do it, but really it was maybe 15 minutes. Yeah, I'd almost get it. I'd get it on one end, and then the other end would slip off, and now I realize you can't see it from that far back. We'll put the macro lens on, and I'll rotate it around and make you all dizzy. Now, I was going to use one of Chris's alligator clips here on this, but when I went to put it on, I was realizing that it might be just a little bit too, you might say, strong or toothy, and I was afraid that the teeth on the alligator clip could deform the delicate edge of our photo etch here. So anyway, I got it on the outside. I do realize that we are going to have to bend that little tab almost level. I'd like to have had this thing more on the back of it, on the back of the unit. Like right now, the radar is facing straight down. But you can see how it's supposed to go here. At least and by the way, Mark, Aussie Frenchman, was suggesting, why don't you find a picture of it? Well, I didn't find a picture, but I found an accurate drawing. At least I am assuming it's an accurate drawing. And it's definitely supposed to depict this one. I'll show it to you. Okay, I think that if I have it positioned at this angle right here, I can get in with the soldering iron right here, and you can see it as well once I put the macro lens on. And we'll be using the solder paste. You're just going to be seeing just a little area right in here, so you won't really see what's going on. I think what I'm going to try to do maybe is instead of trying to put the solder paste on right from the end of the needle here. I'm going to take and put a little bit on the end of maybe my hobby knife or something like that, and just try and get just a tiny little bit on. That's going to be the plan. I remember the last time I used this stuff, I was having a problem with it. It kind of didn't want to stick where I wanted it. We did eventually get it, if you will recall. But anyway, let's just get ourselves recomposed here and get our soldering iron plugged in. And yeah, how can you tell I'm not sure how to proceed here? Now, it has been my experience that when I try to get this to come off of the end of the nozzle, it stays on the nozzle, but I'm going to just give it one more try here. I don't want to get so much on there that it's going to fill in the detail. Oh, it worked. Okay, now, our iron is set at 370 Celsius. Now I just want to let this flow. That should work. I wonder if I could smooth it out just a little bit here. Okay. It kind of filled in some of the grading. Now, okay, now I'm going to just turn this whole thing around now. I'll probably have to recompose the camera, and we'll do the other end. Okay, all I did was I just turned it around a little bit. I'm going to see if I can't maybe get just a little bit more on here and just solder these. This is what I was talking about before when I was saying it doesn't always want to come off. There. Come on. Almost. Well, maybe if I tried it differently here. I gotta steady myself. There. Now I suppose what I could be doing is putting the solder paste on the end of the tip of the. I don't want to leave it on too long and have the heat travel along that bar. And I think that's probably enough. It will have gone underneath the two parts, at least as near as I can tell it has. So I think it's about as strong as it's going to get. I mean, there's no use globbing a whole big bunch of solder on there. which is my style, isn't it? Okay, now let's swing it around and see if we can reinforce where this end cap, goes onto the rest of the grill. Okay, we're still at 370 Celsius. Well, I filled in some of those I filled in some of those little holes. I wonder if I could sort of get that out of there. Don't think it's a good idea to have my fingers near that heat. Okay, let's quit while the quitting's good here. Now, I don't think there's any danger of this thing breaking apart. I think we can probably, poke at it and carefully, of course. Like, it doesn't mean I can drop it on the floor and accidentally step on it and it's going to be okay. However, now right now it's looking face up, right? It's aiming face up. And in order to, if I grab a hold of it here, we gotta mount this little peg right there where that little dimple is on this. But if we do, when we plug this thing into the top of the ship there, it's going to have this radar unit facing down. So what we're going to have to do is bend this piece here almost 90 degrees, and I'm going to have to grab a hold of it somehow. I think that what is likely going to happen is that when I try to bend it, it's going to most likely twist this long piece right here. I don't know if that would look okay or not. I think that might be a good idea if I could try and maybe grab hold of this long piece and hold it, and then bend this other part. I'm probably going to have to do this off camera, because, and then I'll show it to you afterwards. Okay, here's the plan. If I was to take my flat nose tweezers here and put it in like this, and grab hold of this like this, then maybe on Andy's photo etch bender I could sort of pry this around, if you know what I mean. I think that's what I'm going to try to do here. Yeah, I would think that might work. And obviously I'm not going to be able to get it all the way. No, this part that we soldered on here, this long part, it is, it's not, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It's already at a bit of an angle, is what I'm trying to say. So this piece that we're trying to bend doesn't have to go right along flat against this long piece. Okay, am I all the way in here? I think so. All right, now, whoops, I dropped it. Now the idea is that if I push down, it should start to bend. Yes, it did a little bit. No, I don't want to squeeze very much here. I get this one in here, like this. You know, I best not try to do this on camera. I'm going to probably end up really wrecking something. So I'm going to just do it off camera, and I'm going to want to bend that not all the way around, but yeah, see what happens. Okay. Now, I am thinking that if I'm going to have a problem gluing, where do I get it here? Our little peg, I'm not going to have as much problem gluing it into the ship because it's got a pin. Let me get this around here. However, I can envision having a problem gluing this radar unit onto the top of the peg after the peg is on the ship, because it's going to want to sort of flop over one way and then flop over the other way, whereas it should be a lot easier to glue this like this and get it straight and then reinforce it later with CA medium or something. And I know it's going to be sort of blobbed underneath there, but you know, probably not going to see it. And then the peg then will just sort of plug into the ship later. No, that's my thinking on that. So, okay, no, I think I'm still thinking that's the problem. Okay, let me just push stop here for a moment. Okay, and let's do a dry run here. If I was to hold it by the pin, I think I can probably set it down. Now, I did notice that, in fact, you can probably see it on the bottom of that piece there. Trumpeter has actually molded a little, I was going to call it a dimple, but it's not. It's the opposite of it. It's a pimple. Yeah, we got a pimple going on there that's going to fit in the dimple. Okay, yeah, so let's get ourselves a little bit of CA. Probably, I want this to set up a little bit quicker. I wonder if I could get away with putting a tiny little droplet of the CA thin quick setting. Okay, here we go. Now I do not have all day because that quick setting is going to set quick. Does that look straight, or is it falling over one way? Looks like it's falling over to the left a little bit. No, it's hardened on there now. Well, it is what it is. Okay, so I think what I'll do now is I'll take some CA, maybe thin, and we'll just go around the base where the connection is and just sort of build it up a little bit there. And try not to fill in the detail. Like you can see there that there's okay. I've got to show you perspective here. Okay, this is the CA thin. It's not the quick setting. Come at it from the back, maybe. Okay, I think once that all cures, can I get any on the side? Or is it not going to make any difference? Okay, I think we got it built up there about as good as we're going to get. So let's let that cure. And let's move on to another aspect of step, what is it, 27? Can't remember. Okay, I'm guessing about, maybe 3 hours has passed here now. And I'm sure that our CA thin has probably dried or cured, but we're just going to wait for a while. We've got to make up 2 of these guns here, and there is going to be a little bit of photo etch involved here, it looks like, but it's going to be a lot easier than what we just did. And okay, so we need to put one of these pieces somehow on the side. Does it go like this? Let's see. Is there? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you can see it. I couldn't see it. It's very clear right now. There's a peg right there that's going to go in that hole. Okay. I was wondering how I was going to line that up, but this is going to make it simple. At least if I can turn it over, it'll make it simple. Okay, so that's got to go in something like this. Am I going to have to do this off camera now? Yeah, there, it just sort of falls into place, doesn't it? Now we just, maybe we touch a little bit of quick setting on that. Where is my quick setting? All right. Now, where's my other glasses? Okay. Now we don't want to glue it to the manual, so let's not put too much on here. Just let it wick its way underneath there. I think that's all we're going to need. Alright. So I'll do the same thing on the other one now. Okay, I just looked into my monitor and I realized I had you so far back you really couldn't see what was going on. See if we can do this one with the macro lens. Hey Ron, it looks like you missed some flashing caused by the push-out pin. No, that's not flashing. That's actually foot controls. Yep, foot controls. Oh sure, now that I'm zoomed in, it's going to give me a whole bunch of trouble here. Okay, now I don't think that's supposed to actually go all the way into that hole. I think it's supposed to just sort of stick out a little bit. Now this extra thin quick setting, when it evaporates, it's not going to leave any, except for where it causes melding, of course. Yeah, this should be enough. Now, I am sure that I am not the only one that thought this. I think I'm going to make a Star Wars movie. Yeah, it's one of those walkers. Speaking of walkers, I still haven't seen ours. Now later, I did look. I checked the surveillance system, and I did not see the walkers, unless they were a lot earlier or a lot later than usual. But you know what? If we just check the surveillance system just for the walkers, then we're sort of stalking. You know, I sort of liked it better when they sort of walked through the sunrise. It looks like this gets bent at right angles here. And then this part, which is this part, glues on right there, probably on that little flat flange that I'm just touching right now. All right, let's bend it. You know what? I think I'm just going to quickly bend it and get it done with. Okay, I just used the Tamiya photo etch plier here, and get my other tweezers. Now I don't think there's any way that I can position our walker so that it will this thing will stay all by itself. I think it's a case of I'm going to have to somehow hold it and put a little bit of CA thin quick setting, and I think it'll probably just stay there just like that. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's supposed to go. That's what it looks like to me anyway. Yeah, this part here is this part here. Well, we've been through this. We've been through this, and it goes on right there. Yeah, it doesn't look like it goes anywhere else. So this is, unless, or is the tip of this arrow showing that it goes on the inside somehow? Does that make sense? And it's supposed to sit on the inside? No, I don't think so. You know, this is a case of maybe I should try and find these guns and see if there's something hanging down from right here. Or does it look like this is supposed to be some sort of a gear mechanism to elevate the gun up and down? You know what I mean? You know what, I think I'm going to cut today's episode off. I really thought we'd be done with step 27 today, but I did get sidetracked for about 3 hours doing something else. So, whoops, sorry about that. And, yeah, gee, I wonder, am we going to have to reshoot this? I hope not. I didn't realize I was leaning on the base of the camera, and I sort of got it out of whack there. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.